All right, today we're talking about one of the most important tests to determine what is causing your heartburn. It's a stool test. We're going to talk about that test here in just a moment. I want you to understand the importance and what we can find out with this test. Stool test. Things that we can test for. Infection. And in particular, which we talked about on a previous video, H. pylori, which lives in the stomach. We can also test for SIBO, which is bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine. We can test for candida or yeast or fungal overgrowth in the gut. We can test for viruses in the gut, things like Epstein-Barr, rotavirus, norovirus, CMV. We can test for those. Parasites, we can test for those. Worms, we can test for those. If you're wondering if you've got problems in terms of the gut and infection, this is our test. Another thing that it tests for, it looks at your probiotics. Your probiotics, those are your good bacteria, right? The ones that you do want in the gut. These are oftentimes affected negatively and brought down by taking antibiotics, especially if you've taken a lot of antibiotics for various illnesses and conditions and sicknesses, right? We can test for that. We can test for the different GI organs, meaning how well is the gallbladder functioning? How well is the pancreas functioning? How well is the liver functioning? We can determine if there's any blood in the stool, if there's been any damage to the gut as well. They measure that. We also look at the immune system. Is the immune system actually acting or reacting the way that it's supposed to? This thing called IgA, which is another component of your immune system. How is it operating? Is it malfunctioning? Is it healthy? Is it hyper-reacting? We can see that. We can also see a couple of food sensitivities related to gluten and dairy. We can see that on this test. And finally, we can measure this thing called leaky gut. And that is oftentimes the final end product of a gut problem is leaky gut, and how that also relates to your heartburn. So this test is going to tell us all of that information, all right? And here's how it works. You got your box. You're going to take one tube and you're going to mail it back to the lab. That tube has this red fluid in it, okay? You are going to take your stool. They give you some gloves, which is nice. You're going to glove up and you are going to poop into this French fry tray. Yes, I'm calling it a French fry tray because that's exactly what it looks like. It is not ideal, but this is what they give you, and it works. You just have to make sure it's a dry catch, meaning do not let your poop hit the water. You actually have to catch it in the air, hence the gloves come in helpful. Once you have that stool, you're going to open the lid of this, and on there is a stem. At the end of it's a little spoon, little ending, and you're going to use that to take your stool, scoop out samples of it, and put it into your tube to get that fluid to push from that level up to this red line. So you don't have to get it to, that much fluid uptake. That's how much stool you need to get that fluid up to that line. That's it, not much. Mail this off back to the lab, and they're going to give us all of this information on what's going on with you. How's this all tied in with your heartburn? It's an amazing test. It goes via FedEx. FedEx bag is provided. You mail that off to them, and we're going to get these results back to go over. So how the heck are you going to end up doing this? Today's your lucky day. In the video, the description to this video is a link. You can sign up for a free call with us. Today, we can start this process of figuring out what type of stool test you need. That stool test gives us the results for what's going on with your heartburn, and you can finally get answers. So sign up for that free call, 15 to 30 minutes. You're gonna get a chance to figure out what we do here in our office. We can tell you what to expect. You also might have questions about us. We want to make sure that we are a good fit for you and that you're a good fit for us. So take advantage of that call. Get signed up for that. Let's figure out what type of stool test you need, and we can finally get to the answers, to what's going on, so you can finally end your heartburn.